The best thing to do is everyone keeps to themselves. Judgment on America and China. The best thing to do is everyone keeps to themselves, each fends for themselves. Each live separately and quietly, each make their own friendship with others. That I don't talk to you and you don't talk to me. That I don't talk about you and you don't talk about me. That I won't expect anything from you and you don't expect anything from me. I won't make any effort to be your friend and you don't make any effort to be my friend. That I won't interfere with any of your business and you won't interfere with any of mine, cutting off any and all ties and connections between us forever. If America, in its intelligence and wisdom, found paradise and moved to paradise, China does not need to be envious and want to move there with America. Likewise, if China, in its intelligence and wisdom, found paradise and moved there, America should not be envious and want to go with as well. The day we end our friendship and our business agreements, I will be a little worse off for it. You will be a little worse off for it as well. However, that's better than war, death and destruction. Cut off all ties between the U.S. and China. No more meetings, no more conferences, nothing. No more friendship and no more interactions between us. The world will be better for it. Even if there were 10 more meetings and 10 more peace talks, there is no way to move forward. The talks will not add anything of significance or value to help us move forward. It will not change anything. More meetings and more talks would probably lead to 10 times the animosity and more problems. It will lead to 10 times the disagreements. It will lead to 10 times the resentment towards one another. It will lead to 10 times the mistrust and greater adversaries compared to before. We've only gotten acquainted for 2 to 3 days and I've already seen you as nothing, you've already seen me as nothing. I don't give you any respect and you don't give me any respect. That I don't honor you and you don't honor me. That I've already talked bad to you and you've talked bad to me. I don't call you by your name. I've already given you a new name, a name that is derogatory and disrespectful. I've called you, my enemy. You don't call me by my name. You've already given me a new name, a name that is disrespectful and hurtful. You've called me, your enemy. What about your relationship? Why not address each other appropriately? Why not address one as President Xi Jinping and President Biden? Why must we call each other disrespectful names? Does this mean that if we're friends, you no longer respect me enough to call me by my rightful name and title? Or if I call you a name other than President this or that? It's as if we were in an intimate relationship and you now no longer regard me as someone worthy of respect and you are looking to discard me like an unwanted significant other? When we do this to one another, what does this mean then? If this is the case, then the best thing for both sides is that we don't have any interactions and you no longer see me and I no longer acknowledge your existence. If this is the case, if the U.S. and China have any interactions and dealings, it won't do any good for either side. With things the way they are, neither side will gain anything by it. For it to be a worthwhile endeavor, if China and the U.S. have a business relationship and both recognize the value in it. If both sides make an effort to nurture that relationship and let it grow to become one of trust and respect, then and only then, will it be worth it. Regarding business, manufacturing and technology, if the U.S. becomes the best at it and the rest of the world hails America to be the best, China should not interfere in America's affairs. If China becomes the best at it and the demand for Chinese products increases 100-fold, America should not interfere in China's business affairs. The purpose of forming a business relationship is not to become rich. It is not a contest to see who would win. The purpose of forming that business partnership is for trade. It is so that we both can survive and make easier for both of us. That relationship is to exchange resources so we both can benefit from that relationship. It is not so that we can step on one another. It is not for one to dominate the other. If the purpose is to compete and dominate one another, then it is better not to have that relationship at all. In business, there will be times when one will benefit and profit more than the other. That is acceptable in business. There will be times when you will do better than me, and times when I will do better than you. That's just how business is. What is the point of having a business relationship where if I happen to do than you, then you get upset and start to cause trouble for me? Or if you make more profit than me, then I will start causing trouble for you? If this is how the business relationship is going to be, then it is better not to have a business relationship. The purpose of forming a business relationship is not to become rich. It is not a contest to see who would win. The purpose of forming that business partnership is for trade. It is so that we both can survive and make easier for both of us. That relationship is to exchange resources so we both can benefit from that relationship. It is not so that we can step on one another. It is not for one to dominate the other. If the purpose is to compete and dominate one another, then it is better not to have that relationship at all. Both America and China do not need to do business with one another. Both are self-sustaining and do not need one another. Neither country will die of starvation or become poorer if they don't have a business relationship. Both will be just fine. In foreign relations, if the United States of America wants to help or give aid to any of its allies, that's their business. No matter how much the U.S. helps others, China has no right to intervene and interfere. The reverse is true as well. If China wants to assist its allies in any way, shape or form, the U.S. has no say in it and should not interfere in China's foreign affairs. One must be upright and fair to help build a better world. One must not force one's beliefs and values onto others to live in peace with others. We've only started to get to know one another, to become friends and do business together for a few days, and already we've only focused on the negatives about each other and used those against one another. Now, there is no going back, son. Our friendship, our business arrangements, let's cut off all ties and connections while we still can, when things are still amicable, our friendship and business affairs. When we can control our emotions to only have good feeling and intentions, and we've been able to correct ourselves, our policies to reflect nothing but goodwill and truest of intentions. And we've been able to teach and train our people, every single soul, to know what is good and true. To have the purest of hearts and goodwill towards any outsiders without any prejudices and ill intents to a single soul, no more aggression towards any other person. No more fighting with other foreigners over business, over money and gold, no more fighting over a single thing. Then, only then, can we go build relationships with other countries. Have meetings and conferences. Only then, can we have peace, otherwise, there is no need to have meetings and talks, son. With friendship and business, don't deal with more than business, don't go beyond friendship. Don't bring other topics into friendship and business. If you're building friendship and have business affairs, know that it needs to truly be just about friendship and business and nothing else. Otherwise, if you don't know that friendship is friendship and business is business and have other agendas and intentions, then don't even start, it will only lead to death and destruction. If the U.S. and China decides that no matter what has happened, it is better to come back to the table to try and find a way to better their friendship and business relationship. To come back together and share resources, to come back and share in the good and support and raise each other up and help one another going forward. No more talking negative and acting against each other, and truly no more ill intentions towards one another, and make this promise in the eyes of God, then this is what must be done. America must remove all military presence from Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Australia, and any other military presence close to Asia. America must also remove all military presence from the Middle East, Europe, and Africa and withdraw them all back to the U.S. Furthermore, America must bring all the world leaders together to return Hong Kong and Taiwan back to China, to become one people, one country again. America must also work together with China to reunite North Korea and South Korea to become one nation again as when God created and meant them to be. One people, one country. Both sides can govern in their own way. The leaders of the North can be in charge of the military and law enforcement and the defense of the nation. The leaders of the South will take charge of the nation's treasury, finances, and business. Both sides can lead in their way, just a husband and a wife. In addition, they must work together to bring Japan and China back to the table to be like brothers again as it was meant to be when God created the two nations. And give Sri Lanka and the Maldives back to India. India is like their parent and those two, India's children. China and India have been fighting over these for many years. India is a much smaller country, so give them back to India. The land on the border of Pakistan and India that they have been fighting over and over for, give it to Pakistan. However, let that land be its own country, but just have Pakistan watch over it. Lastly, give Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan back to Russia. They must also apologize to Russia for past wrongs towards Russia. These countries that surround Russia will be their own country but make them vassals and have allegiance to Russia. They will be like children of Russia and Russia will act as their parent. They will belong to Russia. Also, give Cuba and all countries south of the U.S. back to America and Spain. The U.S. and Spain must work together to look after these countries and make sure each can be self-sustaining and have an abundance of food, shelter, and the necessities of life. All countries in Europe must be given back to France and England. All countries in the Middle East must be returned back to Iran. All the countries in Africa must be returned to South Africa. Disband and dissolve NATO. The formation of NATO has not benefited the world in any way. NATO has not helped make the world a better place. If NATO is dissolved, then change it to a different entity that will truly benefit and help make the world a better place. Dissolve ASEAN. China must remove all military presence from the rest of the world and the South China Sea back to mainland China, rename the South China Sea to something different. Make international waters that doesn't belong to anyone but open to nation. Make it a trading center for the world, a tourist attraction for the world to visit. Only then can America and China come together and open the channels to peace talks and friendship. To do business, love and be kind to each other as if both are family, like family, we share one plate of rice. We spend from the same purse. If this can't happen, then don't even think about coming together for further peace talks or talks of a better relationship. It will only lead to 10 times more trouble and disagreements. Then, death and destruction will befall us. Everything on earth will be destroyed and nothing will be left. The devastation will be worse than when God flooded the earth. When God sent the flood, He chose and saved some seeds to repopulate the world afterwards. But when we bring devastation to the world, we do it out of disagreements, conflict, and war. We will not be able to choose who to save to repopulate the earth afterward. Furthermore, once we destroy the world, we won't be able to recreate anything anymore. These words did not come from a person. These words are God's words, God's message to us. This, God's message, is to make a judgment on the world. Do you know this, son? In the spirit WPRLD there is a huge dragon. A Chinese dragon has 2 children. One is a son, one is a daughter. Hong Kong is the daughter and son-in-law. Taiwan is the son and daughter-in-law. In the spirit world there is a huge dragon. The American dragon has 2 children. One is a son and one is a daughter. Alaska is the son and daughter-in-law. Hawaii is the daughter and son-in-law. There must be a root to have a tip. There must be the earth for the world to exist. The water, the land, the bamboo, and the trees, the plants, they all have children, they have sons and daughters-in-law, they have daughters and sons-in-law just like man. In friendship, there is getting together, watching out for one another, loving, supporting, holding each other up and helping one another. We can do business together. Our door is wide open as long as we are true and honest. I will not nurture any bad intentions to steal away your sons and daughters. You will not bear any ill intentions to steal away my sons and daughters. This is the way to making the world a better place. Those that look like me, have similar skin and hair color to mine and lives in the same land as me are my people. Those that live in neighboring states or countries are my sons and daughters. They are my brothers and sisters. They sprang from me. Those that look like you, have similar skin tone and hair like yours, live in your land, they are your people. Those that live in your neighboring countries are your sons and daughters, your brothers and sisters. They came from you. If America and China hear these words, receive God's message, this message, I implore you to accept these words and take this message to heart. It may be what's good and true and can help you. God sent His message came in 2007. In 2007 and 2010, the Savior spread God's message throughout the world. It asked the world leaders to set a meeting within 5 years. It was said that from 2010 through 2014, the world leaders should come together to receive God's message so that the Savior's work can be completed, but no one heeded the message. No one opened their doors to receive the message. That is why in 2020, COVID-19 came. Wars came. Bad omen and evil spirits rose up. No one in the world knows where COVID-19 came from. Only the Savior knows. Thank you. Sincerely, Vu Pao Xiong, the Savior. This picture indicates that your eyes can see far and wide. This includes seeing into the new world and beyond. Worlds that you can only hear about but have never seen. This picture was taken with a Thai sister in Nong Khai, Thailand. 1975, Asia. This picture was taken in the refugee camp, Ban Vinai, Thailand back in December of 1980. Delivering God's message. These pictures were taken of me and while I was working. This picture shows that in each new generation, there is a new Savior. There are many differences in each generation, such as cultural practices, diversity in thoughts and behaviors, fashion and jobs. Email viewpakshing@hotmail.com. If you visit the Message of God in YouTube, enter this name. 1. The Message of God by Xiong Ka Vang. 2. Message to End War. The Savior. 3. Message to End War. Vu Xiong. Vu Pao Xiong. Phone 7639107180. 175 Charles Avenue, number 233. St. Paul, Minnesota, 55103 U.S.A.